Hey guys, Captain here. Today I am talking about the Cold Steel 3-inch Voyager. This is the Voyager with the Tonto blade, 50-50, half fine edge, half serrations. The handles on this are the Cold Steel Grivery, they called it. Basically, it's just a high impact plastic like ABS or something like that. Nothing super special about it. Reversible clip. Actually comes with the two separate clips that most Cold Steels come with. One for if you're ready, one if you're lefty. It's tip up carry only, and it's got its triad locking system in there. And this thing is super light and super tough. The blade on this is their AUS 8 blades, and it's got a stone wash finish. This comes in, I think, about 3 different styles. One is the Tonto, one is like a regular drop point, the other one is some funky clip shape, I think. And you could do serrations up the whole thing, or you could do fine edge on the whole thing, or the 50-50 split. I always find the 50-50 splits are the best bang for the buck because the Cold Steel serrations really blow everyone else's out of the way. Most serrations, you have wider serrations in here. You have one wide one and then a couple of two like smaller ones and another wide one again. It's like super close together, and then you have a big one, and then you have like 5 super close together again. And it's like cooking with it's like cutting with a bread knife for cooking. It's awesome. It just slices through everything. It really doesn't hang up. It doesn't catch anything. It just slices through it very easily, especially if you're cutting cardboard. I use this thing all the time to cut cardboard. Actually, if I know I'm going to be chopping a lot of cardboard up, this is the knife I grab. It is super light, like I mentioned, and it's super tough. This is about the same weight, I would say, as the Reptilian. It's a little bit heavier than the Code 4, which is interesting because the Code 4 is a much bigger knife. But this has steel locks, liners inside. Everything on this really fits together well. The finish is awesome. It's got the triad lock. Blade centering is perfect on it. The fit and finish on this thing is awesome for a knife that retails for just under 30 bucks. This thing is ridiculous. This is like the best bang for the buck. You get some jimping up here. Like I said, you have your Grivery, which actually holds up surprisingly well, especially if it's wet. This stuff really works very, very well. It closes up super nice. I mean, all the lines work together. You have a nice little angle here. This flows right into the pommel right there. Just a really nice shape. When I first saw it, I thought it would be a little bit awkward in your hand because you're kind of holding it. Your whole hand doesn't fit inside this, and you have this little clip here. I find it actually helps give me a little bit more leverage, and I could do some slicing a little bit easier as I'm going through. The other nice thing about this knife is the thumb studs on here are ambidextrous, so you don't have to worry about flipping it around if you're righty or lefty like you do with a lot of the other Cold Steel knives. Like I said, this thing locks up really well. This thing's tough. This is probably the knife that I beat on the most. I slice, like I said, this is my go-to for slicing a lot of cardboard. If I have to cut a lot of anything, really, this is what I go to because I've always felt if a knife's going to break, might as well break like a $30 knife and just get a new one. And this thing hasn't broken yet, hasn't even chipped. The tip on this is still fully intact over here. It's a little bit dulled out, mainly because I'll be chopping something up and stabbing into plywood and do that over and over and over again. Eventually you hit a nail or something like that, which is probably what happened up here, but you can see it's not even really... It's still got that perfectly sharp tip. It's slightly dented. As far as the rest of the knife, everything's still great on it. These serrations are still in perfect shape, and I use these things all the time. What's nice about it is it does open up pretty quick. It takes a little bit of getting used to. A lot of people think that to open a knife up quick, you have to get an assisted opener, or you have to have an access lock, or some sort of automatic. This thing, I mean, really, any knife, once you figure out the trajectory of the piston on it, it just kind of flips open on the pivot. So you just kind of got to play around with it a little bit. As far as closing it, closes super easy. You do it one-handed. So a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to get the cold steels because of the triad lock. You have to use two hands on it. Most of the time the lockback's yes. The way that these are built, it just happens to be the lock that's in it. It's no more tough to close the blade one-handed than it is with a liner lock. Unless you've got this blade super tightened on this pivot, you could close it and open it one-handed with no problem. And as far as wearing gloves, things like that for heavy-duty cutting tasks, if you're doing a lot of stuff outside, cold weather, or just using work gloves in the garage or warehouse, this thing, awesome with gloves. It's your hands still fit over it nice. It doesn't feel clunky. It doesn't feel too small. It's got a real nice feel. This comes in a couple different sizes. You get this with a large 4-inch blade. You get the XL, which I think is a 5.5-inch blade. And I don't think they make anything bigger than that. I'm not sure. But they have a ton of different styles of this knife. And they usually run deals on it a couple times a year. But, I mean, for the 3-inch version, when you're paying, like I said, it's under $30. I think you get it for $27. And it's going to outperform and outlast half of your other knives, if not more of them. This thing is awesome. So if you're looking for an inexpensive knife and you're looking for just a real workhorse, this would be a knife to get. And I'm going to have a link to this to buy it on Amazon in the description below. So if you like the knife, you're looking for a cold steel knife to get started with, this is a great knife to get started with in general, even if you're new to knives, because this can really take a lot of beating, and you don't really have to worry about it. It's really going to hold its own.